Hello, welcome to Yoga for Osteoporosis. And today we're going to be doing yoga poses that are good for osteoporosis and hopefully doesn't aggravate it, meaning we're not going to have any forward flexion of the spine. And we're going to stay off of our wrists as much as possible today, too, for those of you that have osteoporosis in your wrist, because you can have it in other places besides the back. So move how you need to move. Always follow the advice of your medical provider if they told you it's okay to do something, not do something, that sort of thing. And then as we get into the floor and do some different things, again, always approach that with caution. So I am going to practice today with two blocks. Primarily, the blocks over here are for when I change sides, but two are perfect. I've also got a strap. We'll use that towards the end. And my blanket is here in case I need a knee cushion for something or just want it for nice shavasana. That being said, let's get started. We're going to start standing. So just do a little posture check here. I'm just going to turn this way. So if you're standing hip width apart meaning your hip bones, knees, and feet are right in that alignment. It's not about how wide you think you are from out here. It's where your bones are. Okay. And then we want to have a little softness, non-locking of the knee. So to give you an example, this is a locking of the knee. So I want that to be a little soft. And when my knees are soft and my pelvis is easier to come into this neutral spine. So for example, when this is locked here, this forces my pelvis into an anterior tilt, puts a lot of pressure in the low back. So just kind of take that into just a little bit of a softer stance. Zipping up through the front body. And ideally, we want ears, shoulders, hips, ankles to all be in that alignment. Do the best you can here. Good. And then from here, once you're ready, don't turn back down. Take a big inhale and reach. Reach. Maybe look up there. Maybe touch the hands together. Good. Turning palms away. Grow taller from head to toe as you push that air down. Let's take that again. Big inhale and reach. And exhale, press that down. Good. And as you come down, just bring the hands to heart center. Setting an intention for your practice. What would you like to receive from this practice? So for me, this is going to be all about the holidays, grounding, joy, self-care, no expectations. And then from here, once you have that set, good, we'll take that back up. Good, let's get a nice side bend towards the left. As I take this side bend towards left, noticing how I'm not shifting my hips. I'm keeping them in line with my legs and I'm just reaching over. If you reach this arm long instead of a curl here, you might find just a slightly more engagement of this area right through here. Also be mindful as you do this that you're not rolling forward here, but you open that up, shoulders in line with the hips. Now using your obliques, your side abs here, we're going to come up and we'll take that to the other side. Left arm comes up, side bend to the right and reach. Breathe and expand that rib cage as best as you can. So go back to your posture check. Are your knees locked? They are. Soften them up. I had the long time habit pattern of doing that. My back felt so much better when I started getting out of that habit pattern. Good. And then from here, good. Take some rotation. Hips can move with you. Let the knees bend and move as they need to. So this is a little bit more of a gentle rotation. Those of you that want a little bit more of a challenging rotation, good. Hips are forward. The rotation comes from the torso. Good. So you don't have as big of range of motion, but it's a little bit more into the core. And then from here, when you're ready, let's just go into a few knee bends. Big inhale, exhale, bend the knees. Hip, knees, and toes track. Press through the hip and the heel as we come up. Good. Long spine here. Belly button stays in. Every time you come up, press into the legs. Make the legs take the load. strong leg, strong back. Good. One more time. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. So from here, we're just going to do a modified cat-cow. And for osteoporosis, that means no cat, no rounding of the spine. So we're just going to do extension and flat back. So I'm just going to come to a little bit of a squat here. My hands are just going to rest on the thighs. I'm starting with this nice flat back. This is neutral. Belly button is in. Good. Inhale, chest will come forward. Here's your cow. Going into that extension. Exhale, come back flat back. Inhale, cow. Exhale, flat back. Inhale, cow. Exhale, flat back. One more time. Inhale, cow. Exhale, flat back. Let's take this cow. Let's hold this one here for 5, 4, 3, 2, counting the breaths, and 1. And release and pressing through. Yeah, just shake out the feet if you need to. Coming to the top of the mat, using your blocks to help you as needed. We're just going to do some standing forward folding here. Remember, this will be done with a flat back. So from here, I'm just going to inhale and reach. Exhale, I'm going to bend my knees as I fold forward. Good. Bending the knees as you fold forward. My back stays flat. Good. From here, I'm going to press through those feet and legs as I come all the way up. So you're making the leg take that load. Good. Inhale and lift. Exhale, bend the knees, long spine as you come down to your blocks. Remember, blocks have 3 different heights. Maybe you don't need the blocks because you can touch the floor. That's great too. Good. Now on this one, could you lift and lengthen halfway? I'm still keeping a long spine. Your legs may not be as long as mine. That's okay. You take it where you can take it. And then we're going to bend those knees, pressing through the feet, long back as we come up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll go again. We'll hold these for about 5 breaths this time. So we'll come up. Good. Bend the knees as we come down. Good. Taking that forward fold. Now, you're probably going to hear me bring in the Ujjayi pranayama here, the back of throat constriction as a habit. If you've got that in your practice, bring it in. Otherwise, just breathe. Good. Now, let's lift and lengthen halfway. Nice flat back. Belly button's in. Good. We'll bend those knees. We'll press through the feet, long back. Come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Okay, let's move on from here. Big inhale and we'll reach. Exhale, bend those knees as you come down flat back. From here, I'm going to use my blocks to help me step back. I'm stepping the right foot back first. You can keep blocks under the hands if you want. I'm going to really take this right leg back, and I'm going to bring that right knee down. Okay, so you can always pitch in that if you need to. Bring in my blocks a little bit here. Good. So from here, I'm just going to lengthen the spine. I'm just getting that nice stretch and opening through this hip flexor. Your front heel is grounded. Knee is over or behind the ankle, not forward. So if your knee is coming way forward here, take this foot more forward. If your foot is kind of coming up in the air, take it more forward. And left hip comes back. I'm lengthening my torso. Now, different things for different people. You can stay here indefinitely for the rest of this little series we're going to do, or you can move with me and do different things. So from here, I'm going to carefully back off. I'm going to lengthen this front leg, but not so much that I get a hyperextension. I'm rocking back on the heel. So this is my half split pose. My back stays flat here. Breathing. Good. Now, because we're not completely warm, I don't want to stay there too long, so I'm going to come back forward. Good. From here, when you're ready, you can stay or you can work on coming up a little higher, maybe finding that balance. Belly button is in. Zip up that front body. Good. And then from here, my right hand is going to take my left wrist. I'm going to lift a little bit. I'm just going to get a side bend over to the right. Coming back up. Good. Coming back down. This one, I'm going to give you an option. So you can take your right hand to the floor to a block. The back knee can be grounded or lifted. So it'll be like this if it's lifted. Find your parallel railroad track position. Find the length in the torso. Remember, we always want to twist from length. So I'm finding that length, and then I'm going to twist to my left. Trying to keep the hips even. Twisting comes from the thoracic spine, not from the hip. And then we'll take that down. Good. And then from here, I'm going to lower that back knee just to reset my block here coming forward. Then I'm going to lift, and then I'm going to step forward. And I'm going to step right into a nice flat back fold. And then bending the knees and coming down. Good. We'll lift it, lengthen again. Nice forward fold. Exhale, bending the knees. Legs take the load, long back as we come up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. We're going to take that all on the other side. So from here, big inhale and reach. Exhale, bend the knees and we'll fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale and we'll bend. The left foot's going to step back. Good. Find your bearings here. Bring your blocks in as needed. Good. And then the back knee's going to ground. Good. Find your alignment. Knee is over behind the ankle. This heel is grounded. Find your length. Belly button is in. 5 breaths. So blocks are helpful here too at different heights to help keep pressure out of the wrist if you need that. It brings the floor up to you. So you can even like come a little taller here. Same thing here, taking it where you need to take it. And then from here, good. You can choose to stay right here with your hands on something, or maybe we come up when we find that balance. Looking up at the hands is more challenging than looking straight forward. The front of the body is zipped up. And when you're ready, left hand's going to grab the right wrist. Lift, side bend to the left. Good. Again, try not to let that front shoulder collapse. Try to keep shoulders in line with the hips as best as you can. The habit pattern for many of us to kind of get floppy there in the shoulder as we age. Try to combat that. And we'll come back up and reach. Good. So again, you have the option. You can stay here. You can keep the back knee grounded, or you can lift it up. Good. I'm going to tuck my back toe. I'm going to lift the back knee. I'm going to find my length. I'm going to put my left hand on my block. You may not need that as you open to the right. Good. Strong through the back leg. Back knee can come down at any time. And this is a great place to kind of check yourself. If you've been on the knee for a while, are you strong enough to lift it? If not, put it back down. In a couple weeks, try it again. And then when you're ready, we'll take that back down. Good. I'm just going to lower my knee here as I reset my blocks. Good. And then I'm going to lift and step forward. Right into that nice long spine. And then bending the knees and pressing up one more time. Nice long spine. And we'll bend those knees. Good. Rooting through the feet. Engage the glutes. Rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding breath. Your nice posture. Nice mountain pose. Okay. So let's go into a little bit of a standing series here. So this standing series, we'll start off with the chair. We'll step that back to warrior one. From there, we will go into a warrior three. You can be grounded, hands on block, or up high, depending on where you are in your practice. And from there, we'll step back into a warrior two. Okay. So from here, let's start with the chair pose first. Let's take the feet about hip width apart. Good. Inhale and reach. Exhale, I'm going to sit back into my chair. Good. How deep you go doesn't really matter so much as long as your hips and knees are okay with it. You've got a nice long spine here. Belly button is in. 5 breaths. I think I forgot something on the other side. We'll pick that up here in a moment. And then from here, once you're ready, pressing through the hips and the heels, we're going to come up. Good. Hands can be at the waist, forward, anywhere that you need to be. You can even take the hands to the blocks if you need to as you step the right foot back. Just kind of find it where you need to find it to get there. We're going to warrior prep that right foot. So hip, knee, and toe are going to turn out away from the body. Good. And you want to press to the back edge of the back foot here. Good. Front knee can be bent or lengthened. Front hip is back hip is forward. So there's a squaring off of the hips here, and we're zipped up. If bending the front knee prevents you from anchoring through the back edge of the foot, lengthen that front leg. Okay. Now I'm going to step a little bit more forward. I've got a little bit more flexibility here, so I'm just going to kind of come into that. And reach and breathe. Strong front, strong back, strong legs, strong back. Now from here, when you're ready, good. I'm going to lengthen that front leg. I'm going to swivel up this back leg here. So different people will come into here from different things. So you can come in here, kind of putting a bend in the knee and lifting up and then walking your blocks more forward. Okay. There's a grounded warrior three. You can come all the way up, come back to a standing position, and then come into it balancing on that left leg for your warrior three. Okay. Maybe arms are to the side or somewhere else. I'm going to be right here. So in warrior position, whether your hands are on the floor or the block beside you, hips, knees, and toes are facing the floor. So your hips are squared to the floor. Your right leg, those toes and knees are squared to the floor. Try to press out of the hip. Spine is long. Breathing. And when you're ready, putting a little bend in that supporting knee, reaching that right foot back, warrior prep, and we'll come up and whoops, do a little balance check there. Not too fast, finding your warrior two. So my back leg is warrior prepped. It's about a 45-ish degree angle. My front hip, knee, and toe are tracking forward. My front hip's going to come forward here. I'm going to leave my hips where they are as I open my chest to the side and reach. Good. Now you can bend a little bit deeper if you've got that range in the front knee, as long as the knee doesn't come forward of the ankle. Breathing. And let's take those palms up. Let's lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Maybe look overhead. It's a little bit of a balance challenge, or look straight forward. And then when you're ready, good. in the way that you need to. I'm going to step the back foot forward, and we're going to take that all to the other side. So actually, before we do that, let's get the little half split on the right side that I forgot when we were down low. So to come into that one, good, we'll come up in here, good, bend the knees, hands can come to the blocks, step the left foot back, ground down that knee, good, bring your blocks in here for support, find your length, and then lengthen back. Good. Should also feel a little bit better on this side doing the warrior series after this is open slightly. Remember, long spine. And then we'll come back, coming forward, tucking the toe, coming back up, lift and lengthen. Good, and bend the knees and coming all the way back up. Good, so apologies about that. So from here, we're gonna start hip, knees and toes, about hip width apart here, coming into the chair. So big inhale and reach, exhale, sitting back into your chair pose. Good, nice long back, belly button is in. We'll find 5 breaths right here. And then from here, I'm going to come up. Good. From here, find your warrior one and the way that you need to get there. So you need to kind of bend the knees, put hands on the block, step the foot back, or are you able to just step it back? Good. I'm going to warrior prep that back leg. So hip, knee, and toes are 45-ish degrees. Good. Front hip's going to come back. So I'm squaring off. I'm pressing strongly through the back edge of the back foot. Again, if bending this front knee keeps you from doing that, lengthen it. Always okay. And then find your warrior one. Relax the shoulders. And when you're ready, good. I'm going to lengthen my front leg just for a little bit more support. You know, swivel up that back foot. Good. And come into your warrior three and the way that you need to on this side. I'm going to bend my knees and come forward with my blocks. It helps if your foot, your supporting foot is kind of in the between your blocks or your hands if you're using those. Good. So hip, knee, and toes, left side, pointing down. I'm lengthening my torso. I'm strong with my supporting leg. I can come up here. Remember, you can always come into a full warrior three if that's in your practice. This is my weaker side. This is my harder side. And once you're ready, good. I'm going to reach that left leg back. I'm going to warrior prep. Good. And then I'm going to rise and set myself up for my warrior two. I'm just going to take this foot a little bit more forward here. Good. You may not need to do that, but front hip's going to come back hip's going to come forward. I'm pressing through the back edge of the back foot. Chest is going to open without the hips moving and reach, finding your warrior two. And my alignment is different on one side than the other. This leg likes to be out a little bit more on this side, a little bit not out as wide on the other side. Just kind of notice what your body needs on one side to the other, and that it's all okay. And when you're ready, lengthening the front leg, let's take the palms up, reach, 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 looking straight ahead or looking up. It's a balance challenge when you look up. And coming out of there, good. Coming in or coming out the best way that you need to. Okay, great job here. Let's come down onto our forearms. So we'll start to come to the floor here. So from here, big inhale and reach. Exhale, bend the knees and come down. Nice long spine. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, bend those knees in the way that's for you. Carefully come down to your knees. Now, for your forearm plank, there's a couple things you can do. You can, the hardest way, you can take your forearms to the floor, okay? And then your knees will be behind you. They'll either be grounded or lifted. Those of you where the floor might be too close to the floor, maybe you need to be up a little higher. Good. You can take your blocks here and your forearms can be on your block so you don't have to come down as far. And then everything else is exactly the same way. So this is actually what I'm going to do today, but you can always come to the floor. So I'm just going to start by taking my knees behind me. Good. I'm pushing the floor away so my shoulders aren't hanging here. I'm pushing away. And then you decide, are you going to stay on the knees or are you going to lift up? And from here, let's take a 20 count. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll lower those knees. We're going to find a child's pose here, a child's pose here. So if you need that knee cushion, bring in that blanket. If knees can be together or as wide as the mat. I think knees being a little bit wider apart facilitates more of a longer spine here. But notice you can always fill in the space if you have a tendency to go into an extension here or something like that. Always find what you need. Belly button is in. Coming back to your intention. Always returning to breath. Belly button is in. Now from here, I'm just going to come up a little bit. Good. I'm going to walk my hands over to my right side. I'm going to walk the left hand forward. I'm going to lift the hips. I'm going to press into my right hand as I sink more towards the left. So I'm getting a little bit of a deeper stretch in that armpit area. In the rib cage. And then when you're ready, good, we'll come up, come back to center. Half or full child pose here to reset the spine. And then when you're ready, good, we're gonna come up a little bit. Good. We're gonna walk those hands over to the left side, walking the right hand forward, lifting just a bit, sink towards the right side, breathe and expand. And then we'll come up and come back to center. Good. Full or half child pose here. And when you're ready, good, we're going to come up to a seat. So I'm actually going to use my blanket to sit on for here. Okay. So from here, you can sit however feels good to you to sit. So crisscross applesauce, legs out to the side, legs forward. We're just going to do a very basic seated twist. So wherever you're sitting, however you're sitting, find a nice long spine, zip up that front body. We're going to twist to the left. So left hand comes back, right hand comes to the knee or to the thigh. Good, rotate, looking a little bit more behind you. Good, and how deep you rotate depends on your own body's flexibility. The main thing, whether you have osteoporosis or not, is we never want to crank through the low spine. So it's not about going there with all of our might. We want to get there on our own, and sometimes that takes time, but it's worth it. Nobody needs more back pain than maybe you're already experiencing or making something worse. And then when you're ready, we'll come back center. So reset. We're nice and tall. We're zipped up. Good. And we're going to take that to the right now. Looking behind you. Breathing and expanding. And we'll release and come back center. Let's take the legs out to the side here. We'll come into a wide leg forward hold. So for this one, you don't want to take your legs out as wide as possible. So for example, here's my widest possible, but I want my body to be able to open up and have the space to do that. So I'm going to come in a little bit less than that. You can always cushion behind your knees if you need support back there. But we're going to zip up nice and tall, hips, knees, and toes face the ceiling with a long spine. So this is a hinge from the hips. We're just going to walk this out. Okay. When you can no longer maintain that long spine, that's where you will stop. So I'm just going to stop right here. I'm breathing and expanding into my back body. I'm feeling the hamstring and inner thigh stretching here. And take a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to walk that back up nice and slow. Good. We're going to work on the abs now. So we're going to do that through some boat pose variations. I've got my hands behind my knees here. Good. So if you've got a sensitive tailbone, you can also always do this on a cushion or your folded blanket. Just know that that doesn't have anything to do with the pose at all, other than the fact that you need a little cushion there. So I'm going to go through different options for different people. I know some of you can do a full boat beautifully, but maybe others are working on it. So osteoporosis, you want to keep a long spine here. You don't want to come into boat and do this slouch, okay? It also just doesn't feel good in a boat pose to do the slouch, even if you don't have a back issue. It just doesn't feel nice. So we want a nice long spine. So some of you are going to take your hands behind. I'm keeping that long spine. Good. Maybe bringing the toes in. Maybe this is enough of an engagement for you today, and that's where you stop. Maybe you lift a little bit. You can lift a lot, maybe even going here. Okay. That's option one. Option two, your hands are not going to be back there, but I'm going to grab from back here. I'm drawing up and in. This might be enough. This might be enough. This might be enough. This might be enough. Okay. That's your full boat. You can also, if you're strong, release the hands. So this is where I'm going to be here. 5 breaths. And as you're here, notice if your body wants to veer to one side or the other. So if I'm not careful, my body will want to lean slightly to the left, but I want to keep it in the center. Good. And once you've done your 5 breaths, good. Take those legs out wide again, long spine, just fold forward here for a moment. And when you're ready, we're going to take this onto our back, onto our back. Let's move some props out of the way here. Actually, I'm just going to take one to each side. Okay. So as you come to your back in the way that's best for you to come back there, maybe just a little adjustment here, but just roll the shoulders back, and for a moment, take your feet as wide as the mat. Belly button is in towards the spine. Good, so you want that support here as you go side to side. Hip, opposite hip will come up. And then once you're ready, good, just bring the knees into the chest, maybe grabbing behind them. You can bring them into the chest if it's easier for you to bring them towards the shoulders. You can do that way too. And while we're here, just finding the length, roll the ankles in one direction. And then the other direction. Good. And from here, we'll take those feet down. So from here, we're going to come into a basic bridge. There's the basic bridge. We'll hold that one for 5 breaths. So hips, knees, and toes are tracking here. Make sure the heels are not too close or too far away. Okay. And you want to be able to press into the shoulders and the arms here as well as the feet. So this is very much an upper body exercise. So zipping up that front body, big inhale, exhale, press into the feet, the arms and shoulders, and lift. Good. Pressing in, 5 breaths. Notice if you're here, if you're squeezing the glutes, you relax a little bit, pressing a little bit more into the shoulders and the arms. Knees shouldn't be falling out or in. And then once you're here, very gently lower those hips back down to the floor. And we'll bring those knees back into the chest. Maybe a little rock here. Grab your strap or whatever you're using as your strap. Good. Take your right foot into the strap. Good. And your grip is going to be different for every person. And so is what your opposite leg does. So especially if you're a beginner, if you've got a cranky back today, AKA it's bothering you, keep a bend in this knee. If it's not bothering you today, you can take that leg long. Okay, but if it starts to bother your back, go ahead and put a bend in the knee. So from here, I've got a piece of my strap in each hand. Good. I don't want to hyperextend this knee like this. I want to keep a little softness there. And then I'm just going to bring it back to where I can bring it. My upper body stays grounded. You can choke up as needed, as long as upper body stays grounded. And being mindful that pain, numbness, tingling, burning, not normal. So if you feel those, you want to back off until you don't. Big breath here, though. Good. And release. Both straps are going to come into the right hand. We're going to let that right leg go out to the right. Wiggle around to find your optimal spot. Your other hip stays grounded. Now, for those of you that have a long left leg, if you want a little bonus stretch here, take your left toes, point them towards the face. Left arm reaches behind you and reach from that left heel to the left fingertips. Breathing, be coming back to that intention. And then coming back up. Good. I'm going to switch my hand. Good. And you can do this with a bent knee as well. but I'm gonna kind of arc this leg over 45-ish degrees, maybe wiggle around to find your optimal spot. I know I'm gonna need more space here, so I'm just good, good. And let's start here for the first half. And then you choose, do you want to stay here? Do you want to take it over into a full spinal twist? Keeping leg in line with the hip. So prop it up if you can't hold it on your own. Right shoulder grounded, maybe looking to the right. And when you're ready, coming back up. Good. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and scoot over just a little bit. We'll do a midair switcheroo here. Okay. So remember, your right knee can be bent or extended long. Find the grip that's appropriate. Softer knee. Good. Find the stretch. When you're ready, we'll back off both straps. Left hand, taking the left leg out somewhere, your optimal spot. And while you're doing that, those of us that have the left leg long, reach it long, point the toes towards the face. Right arm can reach long behind you. Long stretch from fingertips to heel. When you're ready, we'll bring that back in. Good, we'll switch the hands. So for this first part, the first half, just kind of find where you need it. 45-ish degree arc over. Breathe. And then when you're ready, you can take that over full twist if you want to. Prop something under there if you can't hold it on your own. Left shoulder grounded, looking to the left. And coming back up. And release that strap. Good. From here, when you're ready, find whatever position that you need for your Shavasana. I'm going to bring my blanket back in here for a little bit of a pillow. Good. And then I'm just going to let my knees be bent here. That's what feels best for my back today. And then see if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable. So I'm going to give you a pranayama here, which is a really nice one for relaxation, especially at the end of the day. So all you have to do is just be, I will count for you. We're going to inhale for 4, exhale for 8. We'll do that 4 times. So from here, nice big exhale to prepare. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Return a normal breath. Bringing awareness to how you feel. Choosing stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Maybe choosing a wiggle of the fingers and the toes. Choosing stillness or bringing the knees into the chest. Staying grounded here. And choosing stillness or moving any props out of the way if you used any today. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips to the edge of the toes, pointing and flexing through the feet, bending and stretching through the hands. Curl wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then whenever you're ready, bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over to your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment, taking all the time that you need here. And then when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat, whatever that would look like for you. Sitting up nice and tall, noticing how you feel. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Coming back to that intention one more time. And as we bring the hands down, stop the thumbs right at the forehead for good and true thoughts. To the lips for good and kind words. And to the heart for open and loving hearts. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May you have a wonderful day, evening, week, holiday season ahead. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.